Okay, I got cut off there when trying to give a bit of an understanding on Utes, employees, warehouse, and so forth. I've gone off and done a little bit of a diagram to give you a little bit of an explanation on how that works. So here we go. Now think of it like this: we have more than that many Utes. We have actually about 7. But let's just assume that each ute has a particular amount of goods in it. They are all provided every morning to make sure that they're fully stocked with a recommendation amount. So each ute has like 2 of these, 4 of those, 1 of these, and every morning the employee needs to resupply himself with that information. And by doing so, they will approach Michael. Um, they will show Michael and tell Michael or Dennis or Giles what they used the day before, and Michael will provide that for them. And Michael will actually, or Dennis or whoever it is, will be scanning those items and handing them to the actual driver. We'll have a little bit of a basket, and each driver will have a basket which will have each day's stock that he needed to replenish. So let's give you a bit of an understanding. The database covers what kind of ute you've got to track what's in that ute. It has the name of the gentleman who is using that ute to track the person who is responsible for that ute, and then in turn, that ute is supplied stock daily to make sure that it's fully replenished. So this is the relationship that all of these people have in the workplace. Now, when you look at the handhelds actually provide you with all of these features. At the end of the day, the features that are going to be used by employees out on site are view job, remove, um, good time to sync, syncing, doing a little bit of admin perhaps, and logging off. Outside of that, though, they won't do any more. But Michael will be checking in and checking out, doing stock takes, moving, syncing, all of those other buttons that the plumbers don't use. They are generally used for administrative purposes. So, for instance, what Michael would have to do, he will receive a list of items that he has that he needs to replenish into U1, let's say. So what he would do is he would actually move the item. So what he would actually do is Michael would actually have to be logged out, and he would have to resync the phone to recognize that this phone is actually the warehouse. So firstly he would pick warehouse, he would then sync the phone, he would log out, and then he would log back in as him. And what that would provide is that he was the location that's going to replenish all the phones, if you understand. So we're setting up the phone. Michael's going to be the guy that's having it, so it's going to be the warehouse phone. It's going to be identified as the warehouse. So just like this has warehouse here, there is the option of location warehouse there. So you would do that. You would log in as warehouse 2, as warehouse, and then you would use the username of warehouse to log in, which would then allow him to then replenish each of the utes. So we'll just go in and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's say the phone was the warehouse phone. What would happen is we would scan the item, like for instance we'll scan this item, and that item we would actually turn around and say I'm going to replenish it with 2 items, and I want to replenish it into U2. And I would click on that item and it would move that stock into the ute item, and it would remove that number from the inventory item. So we'll cover that again, but this is just an overview of why we have names for each of the people and what each of their positions entail. So when we go back over here, we must remember we've got the Utes, and they have a specific amount of information of goods which are always replenished every morning. We have the employee or the plumber, which is responsible for that Ute and providing the information to Michael so that then he can in turn use the scanning system to then replenish the database to recognize that the items have been returned. And then the whole cycle continues for the day. The Utes go out, they do their jobs, the jobs are completed, they come back at the end of the day, they make a list of what they removed from the truck. The next morning Michael then replenishes those trucks and provides them with their goods in their little basket, and off they go on their extra day. So that's probably the best way that I can actually describe the differences between warehouse, Utes and employees. Okay, so in the first video on the start of the video we talked about creating a job, seeing the job in the information window, removing items, scanning items, and closing the job to begin the next job. So we've basically covered those in these two videos. We will then be moving on to other aspects of the instructional material, like for instance, we'll be delving more into the administration side, like how you add inventory items,